Welcome back to the channel in another episode of... Oh man, my hat is... What is happening? Welcome back to the channel in another episode of Bluteeful. Here we go. New from Shout Factory, Deathstalker 1 and 2 4K double pack. If you check out this artwork, the film is called Deathstalker. It's from 1983. You probably in your brain, if you've never seen this film, can accurately predict the entire plot and or features of the movie. And that's not a bad thing. All right, Deathstalker 1983, directed by a guy who I genuinely don't know, produced by the legendary Roger Corman. This film is essentially... I don't even know, Conan Light. You have Richard Hill rolling in like he's fresh off the Flash Gordon set. Big, fluffy blonde hair, muscles out, pecs out, man mode on. Just running through the countryside. Just wants to hook up and throw down. Hopefully get some gold on the way or whatever currency exists in this universe. Gets caught up in some wizardly business. And a Dark Lord trying to take over the land, world, and or just, his castle, with 3 powerful artifacts that will be reunited. Yeah, that's it. That's your story. This film, when you think of sword and sorcery and you think of those classic fantasy films, this is what you picture. Beautiful women everywhere. Limbs being severed, giant swords being held by super muscle dudes. Everybody wearing way less clothing that is ever appropriate for battle. And it's glorious. This film is so much fun. We were watching it with my buddy and we were kind of debating, is it our favorite sword and sorcery film? It's up there. It's not the best. Let me be clear. Definitely not the best. But is it the funnest? Which I don't think is technically a word. But I think this film might be. It is just so full of fun and over the top and tongue-in-cheek. This is a sword and sorcery film in 1983 that somehow is aware it's silly in real time and just embraces it. There's a part in this film where a gentleman, he's half pig, gentle pig. Gentle swine. There's so many fun terms in this review. Just bashes a dude with a giant mallet for like 30 seconds. And when the camera pulls away, there's just a pool of blood. No human left. That is what I'm talking about. Excess in the absolute best representation of the era. Everybody in this film looks like they're having fun. Practical effects are great. Tons of over-the-top violence. Also, an interesting note about this film, and I think Sorceress came out a little bit before, but I'm going to call it the Stalkerverse. Sorceress, all 4 of the Stalker films, and 2 children's fantasy films, all produced by Roger Corman, intercut pieces of all the films. The 4th Deathstalker film, in fact, there's so many clips, it might even be like less than a 30-minute actual movie. I'm not sure. It's not very good. Also, to anybody out there saying they want all 4 films in a set, I agree, but look, 3 and 4 are not. Are not the good kind of bad. Fun was still had, but just saying. 1 and 2, you're getting the good stuff. But I call it the Stalkerverse because it's interesting. I've watched the films. You're watching this Wizards of the Lost Kingdom, and all of a sudden they have like a battle scene and an extra scene from Deathstalker in a castle, and then in Sorceress, you've got this forest scene that's also in another. It's just a really weird how interconnected they all are, especially if you watch them in succession. Deathstalker also has a new movie coming out, which I think is a requel. I'm not entirely sure. Daniel Bernhardt is in it. They just dropped the trailer, and I want to be real. It looks awesome. There's one problem. I saw no beautiful female warriors. None. Not a one. There's some girl sitting beside a fire. She did not have a sword that I could tell. And that's a problem. Another issue, I think I'm really starting to... Shout Factory is so hit or miss with the effort they put into this release. Just releases in general. You have like Night of the Demons, 1, 2, and 3, which had tons of extras and actually had the old VHS and DVD cuts of some of the films. It just really cool stuff in there. They have something like this that has a couple of audio commentaries, no making of features, no interview. It's just really frustrating. I would have loved to see some of the people involved with this talking about this film, some of the practical effects, what they did with this non-existent budget. Were they having as much fun as they looked like on camera, or did they hate every minute of it? I want to know. But a great pickup. I also had the Blu-ray version of both of these films, and they have now been donated to a better cause. That of my friend who did not have them. It's not a giant upgrade, but it is enough of an upgrade that I can say that I'm really happy I picked this up. The first Deathstalker really is one of my favorite sword and sorcery films. It's up there with, original Conan, but original Conan is almost too good to be in that same kind of schlock factory as the Corman stuff, right? But Red Sonja is in there, Sword and Sorcerer is in there, Sorceress has its moments too. Like, there's so many great films in that era of genre, that post-Conan explosion of sword and sorcery and fantasy films. But this is one of the best. Aspects of everything from anybody out there who tells me that He-Man doesn't have a little bit of Deathstalker in him is just a straight liar. Because the sword, the glowing sword, even the outfits. I mean, some of the stuff you can see the hair. I'm saying He-Man, I haven't read this anywhere. I haven't even seen a YouTube video drawing the comparison, but I'm just saying there's something going on there. Really looking forward to the new film. If you have never seen these and you love that era of film, the classic sword and sorcery, over the top stuff, you're going to have a blast with this. If you have seen the films and been thinking about picking them up, passed on the Blu-ray, this is a really worthwhile investment. I think States, it's floating around like 30. North of the border, it's floating around 45. Like, totally reasonable price point for both of these films on 4K. If you already have it on Blu-ray and, maybe it's not your favorite, I don't know, there's a lot here to really incentivize you upgrading, but a great time. And, man, I'm stoked for this new one. And October 10th, if you're not doing anything out there, maybe find your way to a theater, because if it comes anywhere near me, it is on. Although, again, if there is not at least 2.5 female warriors in this film with giant swords, whooping people with the dudes, it's part of it, man. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this stuff, like, subscribe. Lord knows I have a blast with all these silly bits of entertainment that I enjoy or don't enjoy or am mildly meh with.